Good morning, good evening, good day. It is Thursday. Hello, family. It's Wordplay Queen, and I'm coming to you today with another coaching message. I think I want to start calling them like coaching sessions because that's low key what it is. I'm finna give you like some deep insight on personal development, on consistency, and having motivation in order to tie those two things together. So, on the course of getting yourself together, we're all going to have to face the fact that we have had experiences, trauma, and struggles that have put us into a mindset where we're not the most confident in ourselves and our abilities. This may not be something that you outright realize, but if you have a problem with consistency, if you have a problem with commitment, if you have a problem with taking responsibility for your actions, this would most likely apply to you because the result or the causing factor for all of those things is the fact that you are battling with something within yourself. You're having a hard time seeing yourself and facing yourself and getting over the point of being a victim. So it is important on the path of developing who you are that you accept yourself for everything that you are. We are not perfect. We have lots and lots of flaws, each individual person. And if you base your life upon comparison, as in you see someone else's life and you think, well, dang, why is my life not like that? Then you're always going to fall short. We tend to be hardest upon ourselves than other people. So when you begin to accept yourself and all of your bad decisions and all of your flaws, you are taking a necessary first step in getting onto the course where you can achieve your dreams and have the type of confidence you need. See, it's not about ego and it's not about pride, it's about confidence. When you have confidence, that means you believe in yourself. And when you believe in yourself, that means you have forgave yourself. That means you accept yourself and all of those other things that go along with basically like loving yourself. That's what it really gets down to. It really gets down to the foundation of almost everything, the root of almost everything is love or lack thereof. So if you are having a problem accepting yourself and accepting the things that you've done or the situations you put yourself through, you're going to have to take a moment to really evaluate that, because you have to forgive. And it's not even about forgiving other people, it's about forgiving yourself. You have to get to that point where you're like, I love me. I love me, and you mean that. Like you may have to even say it until you mean it. Fake it until you make it is one of my favorite things, because it's nothing wrong with that. Not always when we begin the transition of elevating ourselves will we be completely, will our minds and our hearts be completely aligned with it. We may not feel like doing it some days, or we may not be able to face our own demons, but it's important, if you want to elevate, to be able to accept yourself, to be able to love yourself, forgive yourself, and understand that you are on an incline like this, but it will not be smooth. It's going to kind of go like this sometimes. So you won't always make the best decisions. You won't always have the best experiences, but that isn't something that should slow you down. It should encourage you to develop the necessary reactions to be able to handle situations that put you in a face of yourself. Like you have to face yourself with some situations. You have to be honest with yourself, and if you're not honest with yourself, if you don't love yourself, if you don't accept yourself, these are vibrations that you send out into the universe, and they're going to continue to affirm what you believe. So if that's how you feel, and you can't even forgive you for some things, a situation you put yourself in years ago, then you're going to continue to get more situations that mirror that, so that you can continue to affirm how you feel about yourself. So it's important that we elevate our minds to a point where the one person that we love the most is me. The one person that we forgive is me. If we can't forgive nobody else, love anybody else, or accept anybody else, you have to do that for yourself. So that's all I wanted to say about accepting yourself and really like just taking responsibility for who you are. I used to be the type of person where I used to be very like a victim, and I don't want to be ever labeled a victim again, no matter what kind of trauma I've been through. Being a victim puts you in a state of mind that it's something to pity about you, or it's something to feel sorry for, or it's something sad about you, when your life's supposed to echo happiness. No matter what you go through, it's a mind state. So I used to have the tendency of like blaming my parents for where I'm at in my life. I'm in my 20s. How am I going to get mad at my parents, or how am I going to get upset about something that happened 10, 15 years ago when I am in control of my mind and my body now? The only thing that matters is the present. Everything else falls to the wayside because it's not existing right now. Like, very literally, it doesn't exist anymore. So you have to just really hone in and focus on how to build yourself up to a point where you accept yourself so much, you walk into a room, everyone else is going to do the same. So along with acceptance, as you begin to build your character and you begin to build who you are and find your purpose, it is very important that we develop consistency. We have to consistently be working on ourselves in a manner where we don't let up. It's like your foot has to be on the gas when it comes to you. Like anything else, okay, it's whatever, but when it comes to you, your foot needs to be on the gas the whole time. You need to be like, I am going to be dedicated to building myself up. I am going to be dedicated to accomplishing my goals, because if you don't do it, if you don't have that type of self-motivation, then no one else is going to have it for you. No one else has your dreams. No one else is you. So why would anyone else care about whether or not? That's something that you have to take the initiative and care about yourself that much. So I made a few notes about consistency, and I developed 5 things that you can do to be a more consistent person. And this will help you as well as accepting yourself, and you can really apply it to any portion of your life as far as accomplishing your goals and remaining on a solid path where even if something comes at you, you still stay straight. Like you may get knocked, you may lean a little bit, but you're going to still stay straight and stay committed, because you are developing new habits that will coincide with the life that you have envisioned for yourself. So the first thing that I think is only 5 things. Now, it's not that hard. The first thing that I think that you need to do in order to really develop your persona and achieve your goals and build consistency on a daily basis is you have to have a morning routine. I feel like I say this so much about a morning routine, and I'm not talking about just every day I wake up and I use the bathroom and I eat breakfast. I'm talking about something way more detailed than that. Okay, so for example, my morning routine, which honestly I could get together a little bit more, but my morning routine works for me. You have to personalize it for yourself and be real with yourself, because you know what you're going to be able to do. Don't say you're going to wake up at 5 in the morning if you know dang well you wake up at 7, 8, or 9. So don't make your goals unrealistic for yourself, because then that's going to go back to you being able to accept yourself, and you're going to be basically lying to yourself. So don't do that. Make every goal that you have realistic for you. So develop a morning routine. What I do is I wake up every day about 6 a.m., 6:30 no later. I take some time out and I meditate, and I drink some tea, and I reflect. Reflection also coincides with my meditation. So sometimes I will journal, sometimes I'll have had a dream, so I'll write that out. Sometimes I'll reflect upon things going on in the world and write about that, and then I have to start work. So that's my morning routine. It's what gets me ready and motivated for the day. I woke up, I decided that I was going to take some time to calm down. I don't bombard my body with a whole bunch of food and sweets, not breakfast. Breakfast normally tends to be a sweet thing, like pancakes, cereal, and stuff like that. So I just choose to drink some tea. I drink some tea and I write in my journal and I just reflect. Most of the time, if I can't get it on my mind too, instead of journaling, I'll do some guided meditation, and that also helps a lot because it puts your mind when you first wake up, you want your mind to be in such a place that it sets the course for the rest of your day. So you always want to start your day on a positive note. You don't want to have anything like getting out the bed on the wrong side of the bed, getting up on the wrong side of the bed. We don't want to have mornings like that. So number one, develop a morning routine. Number two, you have to discover what you're passionate about. If you do not have a passion, you will be moving through this life like a robot. You're going to be clocking in to people, places, and you're just going to be going through the motions. And you're going to wake up one day, probably when you're 40 or 50 years old, and not know what you've done. Like, what have you really contributed to this earth? So on top of having a morning routine just to get your mind ready to tackle the day, you also need to be discovering what you're passionate about so that you can begin to hone in and apply your actions towards that passion. And so after you after you decide what you're passionate about, number three, for becoming more consistent, I say that you should develop a plan. A plan is very important. I don't care if you write it out, put it in your notes in your phone, or how you do, but it needs to be something that you write out. It needs to be something that you see visually with your eyes, because if you just hold it in your mind is like a river sometimes. Things, flow and go. It's going all one direction, so you might slip and miss something. If you write it down, you'll be able to come back to it, tweak it as your life changes and progresses. But you'll always be aware of what you promised yourself and what you said to yourself. And as far as developing your persona, like who you are, and accepting yourself, that's how consistency ties in, because you don't want to lie to yourself. You don't want to say you're going to do something and then not do it. Number four, do things even when you don't want to. Like, oh my goodness, that is like probably going to be a daily thing for a lot of us. It's hard sometimes, like what I was mentioning about the morning routine. Some days you wake up and you don't feel like it. Like, I do not feel like meditating, which is an odd thing to say, because meditation is 100% gonna put you in a better mind state. It's no negative thing about meditating, but here you go thinking, I don't feel like doing it. So it's important when you're developing new habits and you're building consistency that you do things even when you don't want to. Number five, be impatient. And I got number five inspiration from the 4 Agreements, a book that I'm reading. Number 5, be impeccable with your words and with your actions. So what I mean by impeccable is do things on purpose and be very intentional with your words and your actions. Have integrity, good moral, and be honest with yourself. When you do things and when you say things, make sure that there is a purpose behind that, and make sure that it's positive and that you speak life into your life and to other people's lives, and that the action that you are applying, they coincide with your plan and your passion. They all flow together. I learned that they used to say it takes 21 days to create a new habit, but I found out that that's a lie. Most people, on average, it takes us about 2 months to create a new habit, about 66 days. So if you are having a hard time changing your life, and some people, the highest number I found was 254 days. So that's basically almost a year to develop one new habit. Dismissing a whole habit and starting a new habit could take you almost a year. So do not be hard on yourself as you go through this journey of developing who you are, what your passion is, and accepting and loving yourself, and gaining and building consistency to be able to apply these things to your life. It's not something that's easy, but it's something that's absolutely necessary. And I know that you can do it. Like, I'm not even worried about if you can do it. I know you can do it. I am just making you aware that you shouldn't be hard on yourself when you have days where it's not easy. Because anybody who's became anything in life, has any type of success, they did not get it easily. It took a little bit of struggle. It took a little bit of hard work. But I got faith in you. So you all just sit on this message. If you have any comments or you want to let me know or talk to me further about these topics, please message me. I'm open to discussion. It's always love, light, and peace. Thank you for joining me. Like, comment, and subscribe. And don't forget to share. Peace.